So for this video, we are taking on the Mire Mechanica from Return to Clockwork City on Master difficulty, and we are choosing Attack. So when we choose Attack, our opponents begins play with a O2 guard version of Swims at Night, and that thing will hop back and forth between lanes, but the important thing is that you cannot kill it. If you kill it, you lose the game. They also begin play with an Eldora, and they have typically a lot of very cheap creatures that we want to deal with as well. So to offset the essential advantage that they start with, we run a lot of prophecies, or at least that's what this deck is doing. This is a very prophecy heavy version of Mage because, as you will see here very quickly, they are going to flood the board with threats. So it is our job to try to answer them as best as possible.
The treasure will be ours.
See, it is turn 2 and they are breaking runes. And naturally, even though more than half of our deck is prophecies, the first rune that breaks is not one. We're actually gonna kill Eldora here. This pulls off 4 damage, but depending on what they draw, Eldora was worth 4 because it was gonna pump Skywag. And we kind of really don't care about the drain, so
a little distraction might
kind of a bummer that they're done with attacks. But hey, we got, you know, some presence. Couple of different ways that we could do this. I think that ultimately the best way is to get rid of one of the 1/1s and then drop a Hive Defender, because the Hive Defender should be like a 2-for-1 value. Whereas, well, looks like it's going to be a 3-for-1. If we would have done it the other way, then we wouldn't have been left with a creature on the board there. So that's good. We will go ahead and Crushing Blow that because we just don't want them to have curses. Now they are running out of cards, but this deck does run 2 Plunders and a Triumphant Jarl, if I remember correctly. So just because you see them running out of cards does not mean that they are. Go ahead and get that Lydia down so we can protect both lanes.
Valuable, they wouldn't lock it up.
If I fall, the Hist will reclaim me.
Cloud Rest is going to come in handy here.
A little distraction might prove useful for Whiterun.
And I guess there's no reason to not just pump up Lydia right now. In terms of health. So there's the Jarl I was talking about. Right on time. Because much like I didn't get a first rune prophecy despite the deck. That also means I'm going to run into this shenanigans. Now we can't attack here and contest. So we're actually just going to use Spear here. It's actually why I like running it in this like PvE version. There's a lot of 3 health or less creatures in this deck in particular, so if you need it to nuke something, it's like a poor man's lightning bolt, but something like this means that, you know, Jarl's not coming in. So right now, again, we're just trying to basically run him out of resources. There's a pretty strong chance that we end up just decking this opponent as opposed to outright killing him. Largely because we have to be really selectful in how we apply pressure. Yep. Pretty sure we're gonna do that. Again, we're just gonna buff this up just to keep the health high. Not so much worried about the damage right now. We'll go ahead and nuke that as well. So thankfully this is permanently shackled. It's risky. Because I was about to say if they draw a 0-cost card, then they get an extra copy. But naturally, they do. Alright.
For the warrior wife.
So again, we're just going to go ahead and do that and pass. We're down to 11 cards in their deck. So nothing that we're really worried about yet. I mean, I suppose just to speed things up, we can whack them a bit, but we're just being entirely reactive. It's kind of what this deck does. Oh, that's actually, I mean, it doesn't hurt us that he's piling that high, but it's actually semi-relevant there that he got rid of our Lydia. So we'll go ahead and just make sure we have a guard in both lanes. I mean, I technically cheated myself out of 2 damage there, but again, we're really just trying to deck him, so I'm not as worried about it.
If it wasn't valuable, they wouldn't lock it up.
Down to 7. Now, we've seen both Plunders. We've only seen one Eldora, though, so that means there is a second one still in there. We have seen the Jarl.
So, it has been written.
You
Put
can't
him on the
escape.
cusp. Don't want to give him the cards yet, though. There's a Shadow Ship.
What have they been keeping safe for this one?
As if the one Firebolt we had was not enough. Down to 4. So we have enough to start breaking some runes and really put them in a bind, and so I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and come in, right? Because now he's down to 2 cards. And then that's 1 card. And if we lightning bolt him, that is 0 cards. So then they're gonna break this rune at the start of the next turn. We know, or at least I know, that this particular encounter, beyond the giant bats, doesn't really have anything that is like charge threatening.
There's loot here, Skyward. I can smell it.
Kind of don't know how to put it. Basically, we're safe, right? Like at 23 health, there's not any charge creatures in there that are going to be any sort of real threat, and so they have 0 cards, 0 runes. We could just go ahead and pass, but just to be extra safe, we'll nuke the only other things that he has. Pass, and that's the encounter. We win. Yeah, lots of prophecies. Just fight for board. And eventually you'll just kind of win by default. I think that's the best way to tackle this if you choose the attack option. So hopefully this helps.